Alright guys, Landry with AirMarksman here. Today we're going to film a video of the new Undertaker rail for the FX Dynamic and Panthera platform. Some of you guys were able to see this at RMAC, but now we've got it full production ready to go. But what I want to focus on today is the benefits of this rail that's going to help your shooting platform. So today we've got the Panthera, and we're going to be using the side shot with the GoPro through the Theos to get reticle footage so we can explain a couple things with this. So just to kind of give you a brief rundown, the factory setup is going to come in at 2.2 pounds. Okay, that's an added weight to your gun. This thing is also very, very rigid. The second setup we're going to run is going to have the base weight of 2.2 pounds. And then we've got these weight kits from MDT that are 0.7 pounds a piece, so adding 1.4 pounds. Now, we've got the internal weight system for the Undertaker rail, and this is going to add 0.6 in each weight. Okay, so this is going to be 2.2 base weight plus 2.4 pounds. And we're going to show you what that does for the gun setup downrange when you're taking these not so stable shots. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so the position we're going to demonstrate from is going to be from a barricade. This is our little rickety barricade, so it's going to be a little shakier than normal. But the bag we're going to use is the Armageddon Gear Schmedium with the heavy fill, bag of choice here. And what you're going to see immediately is this gun with just this standard setup is not going to balance itself. So I have to put a little more into this to keep it stable. So if I'm going into kind of a wide stance, I'm going to aim at the top left of this box. You'll kind of see how much wobble I have in this reticle. You can see my heartbeat through the reticle and what it's doing to my wobble zone. So that's going to be the standard setup 2.2 pound rail. Now let's go a little bit heavier with the MDT external weights and see what that does. This is like Iron Man, the red and gold, isn't it? Okay guys, we're back, and now we have an added 1.4 pounds with the MDT external weights. You'll notice the weights are all the way forward. That gives us as much leverage as possible to try to balance the gun. So with minimal input now, I'm able to leave the gun alone. I'm just holding it down a little. So it doesn't quite balance by itself, but it's getting there. So I want to show this example and what it does to your wobble zone with just a little bit of added weight. So let's go to that. You'll see it calms down a little bit. My heartbeat's still having an effect on it, but it's not as drastic as it was before. So now let's go step 3 and do all of the internal weights for the Undertaker rail. Okay, so now we have the Undertaker rail with all 4 internal weights installed with an added, what was that, 2.4 pounds to the rail. You'll see I've still got a little bit of tail weight, which I kind of want to eliminate that, so we'll probably go one step further with this. But let's go ahead and demonstrate the wobble zone on this setup. Still seeing the heartbeat a little, but immediately what I'm noticing is I'm having to put less shoulder tension into this gun, which is what's going to create that wobble in the heartbeat in the reticle. So let's take it one step further. Now we can add the MDT weights to the end with all of the internals, and let's get a video of that. Okay, so we're back at it. We've got 4 internal weights on the Undertaker rail and then 2 sets of the MDT external weights. One thing to point out with the internal weights is with only those, it still gives that super clean look with nothing on the outside. Now we've got the external weights added, and as you can see, with me not touching the gun, it's balancing on a bag on a barricade without a problem. What that means is now I have to do minimal input to steer this gun on target. I'm not putting a bunch of shoulder tension in it to hold it up. I'm not clamping it down into the bag. You can free recoil it if you prefer at this point, but minimal input into this gun is what's going to make it more accurate downrange. So let's get to the side shot footage and show what that's doing to the reticle on target. See, there's still a little bit of wobble. There's always going to be that when you're shooting from rickety barricades, but I'm definitely way more stable with this setup than any of the others. So while we're on this subject, let's talk a little bit about what the weights are going to do. So as I mentioned before, this rifle is going to balance itself. When you take a shot, there is a dwell time that slug is in the barrel, and any movement that rifle does in that time is going to affect where your slug is hitting. So as we showed before, if you have a lot of tail weight, when that recoils, it naturally wants to drop. This setup is going to recoil in a more linear fashion that's going to help downrange accuracy. Obviously, the more weight you get into a rifle, the more it's going to settle into a bag, the more it's going to take to move it around. So it's always kind of that balance of how much can you handle with all the weights safely, get it into position, get into different props, and how much you want to add to it. The more weight's going to make it more stable, but if you're not comfortable with it, that's kind of a personal call at that point. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video covering the Undertaker rail. This is a sweet setup for competition on the Panthera Dynamic. So hit up your AirMarksman dealers if you're looking for one. As you saw in our video, we have multiple colors available. If you like the video, please subscribe. Comment if you want to see more videos like this or anything that you want covered. Leave a comment and we'll go over it. Until next time.